So, friends, welcome to this Thunderous Thursday, episode number 4 out of the 26 weeks which we have promised, which I have promised till 30th of June. And I believe that you all will gain a lot out of this in the coming 22 weeks as well. So, I'll be coming live, I'll be sharing whatever I feel like. It is up to you whether you want to learn with me or not. हमारा काम है बोल के जाना. I'll come and go. So as I said earlier, I'll be discussing not the banking basics. As I said last week also, it depends upon how much interest you show. It was not up to the mark. So I have shifted to another sister brother of the banking basics known as the swiping basics today. So just allow me to start the proceedings. So as usual, all my presentations will always begin with thanking the Lord Almighty who's given me much more than what I deserve. And when it comes to finance, I have to thank my dad as well, who has been instrumental in teaching me the clinical part of finance, what you all are learning from me and sharing with me. So this is my brief CV. I hope you are aware of it by now. So I have notified always about these sessions on my WhatsApp groups. These are free WhatsApp groups that I'm running. I hope you are aware of it. If you want to be added in there, the bar is only till the 6th one. Once this gets full, I won't be extending these groups further. So yes, these are advertisement-free groups where free education is the only aim. And these groups will very soon complete 4 glorious years. So many of you are aware of my YouTube channel. Those who are watching me for the first time, they should know about the channel. It is in my name only, Dr. Bhabdeep. Go to the YouTube channel because I have a lot of audience over there, around 2,400 plus subscribers, plus 403 videos, around 51,000 views. So it is just not going into the statistics of that. It is just to decipher the point that many of the videos are actually important in imparting the education. So, okay. So what is my topic for the session today? This is a query that I received from a dear group member. Of course, he's divulged his name, so I have no harm in, you can say, omitting it. Dr. Raghu Ganesh from Chennai. So he asked me a question, is it okay to have a professional current account in my wife's name in my clinic and receive all the payments in that account, sir? So that was the question. He already knew the answer, but just wanted to confirm. The main question he wanted to ask was about the swipe machine part. IDFC Bank is ready to provide me with such an account with a card swipe machine with lifetime rental of $799 and no other charges and no minimum balance except for the initial deposit of 50K, which can also be withdrawn after deposit. The MDR charges, we also known as the merchant discount rate charges, are as per government orders for debit card. For credit card, a flat rate of 1.5%. So I'll unveil a few basics today. Of course, everything is not possible in the next 20-25 minutes, but whatever I know, I'll try to cover that today. Sorry for my bad throat. You might be hearing a nasal twang in my voice. I have not been running well since the past 3-4 days. But yes, still it is my duty to be dedicated and disciplined in whatever I do. So as I said, banking basics pasand nahi aaya, no problem. I moved on to the next part. Even many of us like the banking don't know even the swiping basics. Colleagues don't understand what exactly is EMV or PCI compliance. This is actually about the machine part or the card part, you can say. But EMV, we all know. We only know about the EMV part. EMV is the one with the chip card. We just record EMV card aa gaya mere paas. What does EMV stand for? EMV stands for Europay, MasterCard, and Visa. These are the 1994 founders of this chip. So commonly we used to have a debit card or a credit card without, you can say, a chip. It was amenable to fraud easily. It could be cloned. It could be done so many things. Then the EMV chip came. Then the Wi-Fi tapping ability came. So these are also evolving day by day. So EMV is a technology which comes with most of the cards these days. None of the cards usually, unless it is you're getting a prepaid kit in the bank. When you open an account, you get an instant bank kit where you get a debit card along with. Even most of the banks are giving that also in a chip form, but still some banks are still adhering to the normal debit card in an instant kit so that the customer can immediately withdraw, because these days the bank account can be opened in 5 minutes flat. The authentication can be done via Aadhaar and PAN online. Via the biometric machine, the small device they are carrying, you can open it online. I've opened many accounts in the past for my family members and myself just within 5 minutes, as good as 4 days back. So the PCI, another thing, it is not exactly PCI, it is PCI DSS. The PCI compliance is basically payment card industry data security standard. That means that all companies are actually interlinked with each other, and they actually can store or transmit the information so that the security is maintained. The data is not, you can say, amenable to stealing or that part. And to tell you a fact, data is the new gold these days. So what are the types of POS terminal which we used to have? Of course, I'll be giving you the current ones also. There are so many options these days. I remember when I got my first terminal in 2006 or 7, they said we have only 2 options, wired and wireless. Sir, please don't opt for wireless. Uski battery bahut nikammi hai. I was given this offer by the bank itself. My first credit card machine was from HDFC. They told me there is no minimum bar. You can swipe not even a rupee in the month. You can swipe 1 lakh in a month. You just have to pay a monthly rental of 299. I'm talking of the year 2006. At that point of time, the GST which was labeled was 12.5%, if I remember correctly. So these were the options. But then time evolved. Many things came. Mobiles were not even smart or had started turning smart in that era. Then the PS10 was the one with the regular telephone line, the desktop GPRS. Then the SIM-based machines came, portable GPRS, mobile POS, mobile POS, sorry. So ECR, electronic cash register terminals, biometric-based, biometric portable, NFC-enabled terminals. So there are so many options that were available. And there are a lot many which are available today. And yes, many of these are existent even today as well by many nationalized banks. But what are the options which we currently use and what should be advised? But before that, how do you exactly identify the identify the right POS, so the point of sale machine? There are 16 factors in my view. Of course, the list can be endless, but I've given you 16 factors. The connectivity should be, you can say, very easy one. Now they are no longer the GPRS or the SIM based. They are more or the Android POS these days. They are just Wi-Fi connectable, and you can connect via Bluetooth and Wi-Fi easily. So the bulky models have been replaced with a thin calculator. You can say a very thin, you can say 2 to 3 thick calculator sized. They have come GPRS, and still they can be swiped. Still they can be tapped. Still they can be dipped. So all the options are possible. Then types of payment which should be acceptable, because all the good POS machines will accept all the magnetic card chips card, all the NFC payments, QR codes, and even SMS. So the standard which we have been using is the swipe payment. You all know what it is. The dip payment, insertion of the card at the bottom, and the tap payment through the, you can say, tap on the go, which is the new feature since the past 3-4 years. Earlier, the limit was 2,000 for that. Now the limit is 5,000 for that. Now, sorry, this is a slight repeat. So while purchasing a card swipe machine, the third feature is the security. So always check whether your device is PCI or EMV compliant. I've already told you about PCI DSS or the EMV compliance. Of course, these days, mostly banks are not issuing, but don't try to swipe a non-EMV card in your machine. And the card should be bearing that. Then the fourth factor is, again, a connectivity. It should be working even on 2G. Some machines will say, no, sir, we require only 4G, 3G, or even a Wi-Fi. We won't work on data. We don't work on SIM. So all the options should be possible. So the mobility, then of course, you don't carry the bulky terminals along with. You should have thin swipe machines along with that. So which should be actually easy for the portability part. And of course, there should be no connection hassles in that. And it should be pocket friendly. You can just put it in the pocket and you can use it on the go anywhere. Then, of course, ability to print or either send digital e-receipts. Many of the machines these days are like eStap and ePay. They come with the, you can say the customer receives the message immediately. They might not be giving the printouts. Anyways, nobody is interested in a printout if they get a message. which they can retain for a longer time. The ink on the paper or the paper roll, it automatically gets smudged after a few weeks. Sometimes you can't retain that. So traditionally, it was an option, but since it is a Go Green India now, so usually they offer a message kind of a digital e-receipt kind of a thing immediately at that point. Then one important aspect is that they should be accepting all cards. I remember when my first HDFC machine was there in 2006 and 7, it never used to accept Amex cards. I used to have a few NRIs then who used to have American Express. Amex stands for American Express. So they used to have American Express cards and it was there. So we lodged a complaint officially so that no problem, sir, we'll be updating the software. So they updated the software of the machine. The guy used to come for maintenance regularly, of course, free of cost at that time. So they used to update the software in the machine. And then the machine started accepting Amex cards from 2008 onwards. By that time, I already had an Axis machine also in my clinic. I had 2 machines running at that point of time. So then, of course, the most commonly ones these days are the MasterCard, Visa, Amex, and RuPay cards. RuPay card, since it is the, you can say, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's movement to, you can say, Atmanirbhar Bharat. So most of the cards being issued by most of the banks, at least the nationalized and even the small finance banks, are the RuPay cards. A few of the bigger private banks are still sticking to Visa, but then it is their choice. Then the technology and the long battery part. Of course, the technology should be state of the art. If they are PCI compliant, EMV compliant, and they have the size limitation, all those things should be taken care of by immediately the technology part. But then long battery or not, it can be offset by the USB charging. So anyways, you have a, you can say, a mobile terminal or a USB cable available everywhere. So it should not be an issue. It is hardly an issue these days. So then an option of EMI at POS. So bigger merchants, especially during the festival time, they come with the option of converting the big ticket purchase into the EMIs there and then. Of course, we don't get such options. For that, the volume has to be really big. Yes, if you are a multi-speciality, multinational clinic in a metropolitan area, daily swipe is more than, you can say, 2 to 3 lakhs daily. I mean, so then you can surely opt in for this kind of an option because this comes at a cost. So usually consumer goods selling, you can say, stores are accorded this option. Then integrated POS devices. So earlier, you can say the wired were the ones which were the problem. Now they're lightweight, sleek, new, you can say, queue busting solutions. Just tap, dip, swipe, whatever. It is just hardly a thing. It's just hardly you can say, a small thing to do that. Then documentation part. We always look into those things where the banks or the merchants will provide you with a minimum possible documentation and, you can say, the least of the waiting times. Otherwise, this process can be really tedious. I remember the Axis machine which I got in 2007 or 8. It took me almost 100 days or 3 months for the approval to be there. And my CIBIL score was not bad. My other factors were also in control. And Axis was the only bank at that time which was linking the swipe machines to the savings account. Normally, most of the swipe machines are linked to current accounts. They say, sir, wo paise mein aayega, divide karke aayega, please don't go into the saving part, keep that account separate. So it is a personal choice which you want to link, but most of the banks will give you an option of current account only. So that means an added headache of that. But then this is the problem with the machines which are, again, the bulky ones. The M-swipes and the e-stabs and all those things which I'll be discussing later in this part, they don't come with a you can say, requisite of opening a separate bank account. Your existing bank account can be linked with that. So then cost effectiveness, of course, we look at only number 12. As the question was there by Dr. Raghu, this is the charges. We never look into the other 15 factors. So of course, not his fault. It is a common thing. We always look at the cost of the initial investment and then the MDR. What are the rates they are offering? I'll be discussing that also. So this should be offering what is their installation charge, monthly charge, annual charge. Some credit card or some merchants will bill you annually for your commitment to stay with them. Very few of them are there from the private banks. Like you can say, if I'm not wrong, DSB Bank. I don't remember the name exactly. There is one bank which is offering opting to go in for an annual payment kind of a system. If I remember, I'll post it later. So Look for a service provider who will offer you the same device and which suits your business. Of course, it can be linked to your volume will depend upon what is your total costing. You don't look at the total costing, what is the total swipe option. People have all the different options these days. These days, phone pay, GPay, all those kind of QR codes are existent. People have universal codes. You can say even you can add your credit card or a debit card, and even then you can pay from the same during you can say using one QR code itself. Then the settlement process. Most of the companies will offer an automatic settlement in the morning next day. I remember in the case of SDFC, we used to get the payment on the next day, even if we swiped on a Saturday. And on those times, there was no second Saturday or a fourth Saturday off. But even then, it was a half Saturday. Sunday was a off. So I used to get payment on Sundays also, or any holiday if it was there. So some banks will settle automatically at 5 a.m. next day or 7 a.m. next day, or we can say 10 a.m. next day. It depends upon whatever their system is. But some banks like SDFC will not settle. They will rather charge you. If you don't settle for the next 3 days, they will charge you extra. I'll show you that. Of course, in certain territories, these things have been wiped off, or you can say written off, but not in all territories of India. So then again, there should be no condition to open any new account for transaction. Your existing account should be good enough. Usually a firm or a business has a current account, so there should not be any existing or you can say new requirement for that. Then of course, the customer support is very important. Sometimes there are double swipes, then there are not returning of the transactions. So you need to have a good customer care, which should do it. Then a self-service portal should be there where you can log in and check out yourself so that you can keep track of your transactions. Remember, some of the payments when you're getting, if they're not settled properly, you will not get it. You need to check in. For example, if you swipe, let's suppose 5,000 from one patient, 8,000 from one patient, and you can say 10,000 from one patient. So 1,000, 8, 5, and you can say 10. So what does that mean? It is approximately 23,000. For example, if you have a 2% MDR, about for 460 plus GST would be deducted. Let's put that number at 500. Let's put that number at 500. Next day, you will get into your bank 22,500. How do you know the total amount? Either you divide the total amount or you keep a track of that, or you have charged extra from the patient. This way, you need to keep a track in your account. People ask me, how do we calculate? You can do both ways. Again, another question in this related to that, do we charge extra from the patient? I'll deal with that. So the question is, how do you put in your income? Either you put in exactly of your income or more than that, or you put in the actual income plus the bank charges. It is your choice, whichever way you want to go it. For example, if your amount was 23 and you overcharge the patient by 2%, of course, the GST part would be differing and you will get the result in paisas. You can compensate the same via bank charges. That is the way to do. That is the way I do, so that I keep my clinic income in a round figure. That is the way I work. So you're free to work in another system also, where you put in the income as paisas. For example, you charge 5,000. You charge 10,000. Swipe 10,000 in one, and you got back 90 rupees and 39 paisa. You can put in the same income. When you file your ITR, your income would be in paisas. Nothing wrong in that. I will put it, for example, 10,000 as my income and 110 rupees or 109 rupees and you can say 40 paisa, 50 paisa as my bank charges. So both the ways are perfectly fine and suited to the income tax department. So it is your choice. So any additional features, of course, those companies who use GST software or any other business software, sometimes the softwares can be integrated in itself to the system. Of course, we don't need that. But these are aforementioned 16 points, which are some critical variables. As I said, the list can be endless, but somewhere you have to put a stop. But we are interested in only the number 12, as I said. The number 12 is the cost effectiveness. We only look at this part and the MDR part, of course. The MDR part was not even discussed in this file. So I hope this puts you in a think mode that what exactly do we need to look at other than the swipe machine part. There is more. There is more. What is more? The rate of transaction. For debit cards, for credit cards, for premium credit cards, for international cards. International card will include both the debit and the credit. They may have a separate categorization. But then what are their rates? I'll tell you. We have to look at the MDR. What is the MDR? Merchant discount rate. This is the rate which is defined as, which is the rate charged to the merchant. Merchant means you, for processing the payment services. The fee is charged by the bank or the credit card and the debit card from the consumers availed or goods bought, or the services. We are selling services. We are not selling any goods. So we are selling services. So this is the rate of transaction. What they look like. Let's see. Average debit card charge in India from different banks varies from 0.4 to 0.7 plus 18% GST. Average credit card charge is 1.15 to 1.7% plus 18% GST. Average premium credit cards, they vary from 1.4 to 2.25. Of course, above 2 is a rare thing, but yes, some banks do offer that also. Some banks have a reverse thing. Some banks will charge less for the premium credit card, and they will, you can say, pass on the benefit, and they'll charge more for the normal credit card. Then average international credit card is 2.25 to 3.5% plus 18% GST. So this above is not fixed for any bank. Even from the same bank, it is not fixed. For example, Dr. Raghu opted for a IDFC machine. I also opted for an IDFC machine. My banking relation or my total relationship value is more with the bank than Dr. Raghu, for example. So in this case, he may be getting a 1.5 from the same bank. I may be getting a 1.4. He may be getting a 0.5 here. I may be getting a 0.3. Again, it depends upon the business volume also. I commit them, मेरा कम से कम 25,000 महीने का swipe होगा. He says, I don't do any commitment. Just an example. So this is the way things can vary. You have to look into all these factors, and these are dependent totally upon your negotiable communication skills. How much you can actually, you can say, get out of them, it is yours. It is again a limit which has been accorded to those merchant managers who are dealing with this part, and they'll do it. They'll do it. I'll show you. Of course, this is not, the question was, should I opt for IDFC machine or not? I could have easily answered in one line. No, don't opt it, in my group itself. Why I took it up as a topic in the, you can say, on the national platform, my FB Live, just for the reason that I want people to be aware of certain things which are not easily available online. You won't get many of these informations online as well. Raghu asked me then, sir, you asked me for the small finance banks to find out there. I never told him to find out. I said, you'll get a good option from there, Raghu. I called him up in the afternoon. I said, you'll get a good option. He went up pahat head. He's always like a sasa, like a khargosh. So he always is fast and look to. He said, I did not find any option online. Because Raghu, if you found any option online, you wouldn't have needed me to deliver you these things. If everything was available online, certain things come from experience, certain things come from usage, certain things come from a relationship value with the bank. So that is what I'm sharing with all of you. So just look at one of the, you can say, charts of the MDR from HDFC Bank. Of course, it is an old chart, but then their charts are based upon international cards are standard 2.75. Gave you the range 2.25 to 3.5. So these are the charges for the, you can say, if your volume is less than 1,000, 999 is the monthly rental. If your volume is 1,000 to 25,000, 499 is the monthly rental. And if your volume is 25 to 1 lakh, your rental becomes 199. And if you don't use in these, 50% of the LUCV applicable, means 50% of this would be added over to your rent, plus the basic service charges added, plus the physical MPR, all these things. These are hidden charges, you can say. Batch settlement fee, ₹1. Late settlement fee, only for transaction settled late after 3 calendar days. Wasn't it necessary for the bank to settle the money itself? If you forgot to settle for 3 calendar days and they never wrote it for 3 working days, when they have to solve a complaint, they say your problem will be solved in 7 working days. Bloody hell. Sometimes there are 3 holidays, 2 Sundays and 2 Saturdays in between. And that 7 days means sometimes you can say 12 days also for them. But when it comes to settlement for us, they refer for 3 calendar days. This is how the banks, I won't say cheat us, they are smart. And we are lallu in that sense. We are stupid in that sense. We don't read the total agreement form. And again, lost terminal charges, all those things are mentioned over there. Then another one, the latest schedule of charges from Bank of Baroda. RuPay debit cards, nil. Debit cards for small merchants, 0.4. Debit cards for merchants above rupees 20 lakh, 0.9. Credit cards, flat 1.9. And corporate card, premium card. See the premium card, it is much more than the industry average. Foreign cards is rather lesser. And you can say monthly rental, 475, 472. Android, POS, Pine Labs. Pine Labs is one of the service providers. So security deposit 10,000, GST not applicable. It is like you can say a security or a guarantee against that you use it. So these are the different charges by different banks. You got to know all this. Unfortunately, we see only this and the installation. We never see the other factors. Of course, we try to presume that everyone is offering the latest technology. No, everyone is not. Then the rental part. There are zero rental options like a Bharat Pay, which is the, you can say zero rental means they just take a 5,000 security deposit. If you are a Bharat Pay member, they charge you 4,000, which is a security deposit and it is refundable. And then in this option, if you swipe, if you do not claim or settle your money for 15 days, nothing was deducted. But if you want your money the next day, 1% is the charge, irrespective of whatever you are doing. Credit card, debit card, whatever. Indian, international, they have a separate thing. So it is one and all card. So if you don't need the money for 15 days, nothing. For the next day, like a normal credit card machine, 1%. Then there are one like IDFC Bank and AU Small Finance Bank, one-time payment. As Dr. Raghu mentioned, 799 option. But a perfectly similar option is available in an AU Small Finance Bank also. 1,500 plus this is the amount which they say. This is of course without GST. You have to add plus 18% GST also. So 1,500 will become 1,750. This 8,000 will become roughly 85 something approximately. So if you get you can say a one-time payment option, why would I opt IDFC? I should opt this. Then there are some fixed time payment like Fincare Small Finance Bank. You pay 999 for 3 years. I asked them, what does this mean? 10,000 means roughly for 36 months, I'm paying you 300 rupees per month. But then they come with the option of no MDR for 3 years. No MDR means no swiping charges. You pay them 999 as one-time fixed payment for 3 years. They will not charge you any MDR, swipe any amount. Then there are monthly payment options like banks like HDFC, Bank of Baroda, Axis, the standard nationalized and private banks. They work in a traditional way. So all these have various clauses to suit them and not the client. And they can change anytime without information as well. So you need to remember that. So I hope this is into the think mode. Still, it's not over. Another aspect, can we charge from the patient, as I mentioned, or should we charge from the patient? What do the government guidelines say on this? Is it illegal to charge? I'll show you the double standard of the banks. Ideally, these charges are to be borne. The Kotak Bank's website says, ideally, these charges are to be borne by the merchant and for having taken the payment through a POS. And they have quoted the RBI's words on their website. What do those words say? Merchant establishments levy fee as a percentage of transaction as charges on customers who are making payments for goods and services. Such fees are not justifiable and not permissible as per the bilateral agreement between acquiring bank and merchants. So if your agreement, which you should read, does not mention anything, this thing you can charge. Now, I ask a question to bloody Kotak Bank right now. Why don't you mention the NEFT and RTGS charges? In order to provide an impetus to digital fund movement, the RBI decided to do away with the charges, you can say, for RTGS and NEFT 2 years back. And the banks are required to turn to pass these benefits to customers. You go to a bank, they will charge you even a 5 rupee, 10 rupee, 15, 20 rupee. Why do you charge this amount for NEFT or RTGS? When the RBI does not levy you any charges, why do you charge? You have printed it. You tell the customer it is printed. We charge this much amount. So why can't we charge? We tell the patient priorly that we are charging for the swipe. If you want to pay any other mode, charge it. It is a government advisory. It is the RBI's word. The government has issued an advisory. It is not a binding agreement that everybody should not charge. We are living by our own free will in this regard. Even over the agreement does not say anything in that regard. If the bloody banks can do this stupidity, yes, some banks are offering totally free, but no bank is offering it totally free. Online, sorry. But physically, no bank is offering it totally free. Is it thoda sa paperwork charges, ye charges, wo charges, he charges. When RBI is not charging, if you are charging, we can also charge for that. So that is not the point. So this is the double standard of you can say pitiful banks like Kotak Bank. What you can see. So I showed you various terminals. Then there are sisters and brothers. MPOS. Just download the MPOS. You can say app in your smartphone. You can say connect your smartphone using a Bluetooth and swipe the credit card on the MPOS. Complete the payment successfully, as it is. Then M-Swipe solutions. You can say you don't need to open a separate bank account. It is you can say an offer by a ICICI Bank. You have to pay a rental of 350, and your setup charges can be, again, depending upon your plan, anywhere between 2,000 to 6,000. So then there are other sisters and brothers like EaseTap and EasePay services. And this is one of the leading online payment solutions. A smart solution. You don't need a separate hardware, just a smartphone into a digital payment terminal. You can do it. Then again, EasyPay services, one of the most important, reliable, fastest electronic in MPOS. It also offers a real-time fast solution. Just by entering the receiver's mobile number and the amount anywhere, anytime. You just need an app for that. Of course, enabled from the backend by the bank, of course. So there are so many flexible options available these days. So I hope you are not confused by these options. If you are, you need to watch this video again. So topic for my session, from where I started. So coming to an end, is it okay to have, you can say, oh, sorry, it was the main question. IDFC is ready to provide me such an account with a credit card swiping machine with lifetime rental of $799 and no other charges and no minimum balance for initial deposit. So you still say this is the thing, whether they give this thing in return? No, they'll never say. They'll mention this thing, we require an initial deposit. They said verbally it can be withdrawn. Of course, it may be possible, but I don't believe in such thing where there is not a return. So MDR, again, on the higher side, I would say. So what is the point to ponder in that? My carry home gyan for this. Choose a machine, not answering Raghu's question specifically generally. What is your volume? How much swipe you average do? I'm not asking what your total income. How much average swipe you do in a month? How many patients ask for you or opted for that or asked you for the same in the past 12 months? So what is your ITR value? ITR की value आपकी 5 लाख है और आप अपनी swipe machine डाल रहे हैं. Don't do that. Don't do that, please. Either come to your full ITR value, proper अपनी return की दिखाइए, उसके बाद कीजिए. Then cost to value ratio. Whatever you are being charged, calculated not monthly but annually. And if that is actually, you can say, you're getting the returns in that aspect, opt for it. And your all other options will decide that. So final word for Raghu. It is a dynamic world. Keep moving with change. Nobody says, if I would have stuck to my HDFC machine, they levied a charge of 2,500 in 2012. I said, why was this levied? They said, we have changed the merchant agreement. You need to swipe a minimum of 25,000 per month, or else you will not be there. I said, there might be months where I'm sorry, when I will be swiping, sometimes I'll be swiping more than 50,000 a month also. But there will be some months where I will not be swiping even 10,000. My patients can pay me in other mode. Why shouldn't I be bothered about that? So you will never have one stable swipe partner throughout your clinic life. Remember one thing. Because they also keep on changing contracts. So you also shifting somewhere else is always your option. I asked the FinCare bank guy. I said, I opt for your machine. You're giving me 999 or 10,000 rupees for 3 months or 3 years, sorry. That means roughly I'm paying you 300 per month rental. Swiping liability nil, MDR nil. So I was at a win-win situation. Why not? Then another option I have is from the AU Small Finance Bank. They said, we don't need a current account. You can link it with your savings account. One-time charges, 1,500 or 1,499 plus GST, 1,750 around approximately. So charge it. The MDR is the fixed. 1.4 was for the normal card, 1.85 for the premium card, and debit card 0.4 or 0.5%. Fair enough. If you're charging me one time for 1,500, I'm ready to pay. Bottom line, The established players in the industry like SBI, Axis, HDFC, Bank of Baroda, they are all on the higher side. The growing ones, the small finance banks, they will offer you a good MDR, good option of installation, good, you can say, initial startup option. So never ever go in that vehicle where you don't pick them. So always try to pick up those because they are the ones who are in the need of a growth. I will pick these options in today's time as my careers or my career of finances for my swipe machines. If I'm looking for a fixed machine kind of an option, if I'm looking for an M-Swipe, eStap, eSpay, I have so many other options. But anywhere, if I'm paying close to 300 rupees, 200 rupees, 500 rupees per month, cost to value is delivered, I don't mind keeping it. Yes, of course, the other charges, other connectivity has to be also in sync with that. So I hope I'm able to put in some amount of, you can say, some of you in the think mode. So if you don't understand a few things, you can say fully equipped to watch this session again. This session will go on YouTube tomorrow. So thank you so much for watching. And this is my YouTube channel. This is my KYC. You can get in touch with me. You all know this is my WhatsApp group where you all have been. If you want to be added, please send me a request. This is my social media presence again by my name only. Do send me your feedback. I'm always short of feedback. Do send me brick bats if you don't want to send bouquets. I don't mind that, but send whatever you want to. So do send me on mail, on my YouTube channel, on my Facebook page, on my WhatsApp group, wherever you want. You're free to send. Thank you so much. And I stop my screen for shares and just check who all are watching. Hi, Dr. Rajat. Hi, Dr. Ramchandra. Hi, Dr. Praminder. Hi, Maninder. Hi, Vandana. Hi, Manu. Hi, Dr. Prabhu. Hi, Dr. SP Singh. Hi, Dr. Bala. Hi, Dr. Nimish. Hi, Dr. Nishant Kumar. Thank you, Dr. Ramchandra. Any more questions? I'm here for 2 minutes. Then before I wind up the session. So thank you, Dr. Nishant. Hello, Vinita ma'am. So any questions, please do feel free to ping me on my number, on my WhatsApp group, wherever you are, or on the page. I'll try to answer and get back to those in less than 48 hours. I promise that. So thank you so much for watching this. And I see you with another episode of Thunder Thursdays next Thursday. And before that, we meet on Mondays or Miraculous Mondays or Management Mondays on the topic of practice management or medical legal ethics, whichever. Let's see which exactly is the one we get along with, because the previous 2 sessions have been on, you can say, those parts which have been going ahead with the MLE sessions. Now, maybe this week I'll be having a practice management session. So thank you so much, guys, for watching. Please be here every Monday and Thursday, 8:20, 8:15, and 8:20 p.m. I'll be live at least till the month of June. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye. Have a great weekend coming.